Hey, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakal, Kadash, Barakathum, Akim. I want to start this lesson out. First off, this is Ra'ai from GMS, Nebraska. And double honor to our apostles, which rule well, who are our elders. And blessed citation to you, brothers out there teaching, enduring truth, sincerity. Now, I had an idea about a lesson I wanted to do, and I really couldn't figure out how I wanted it done. But long story short, I came up with the idea of basically merging the both, because it's not, both of them are too short lessons. So on one hand, I had a lesson on everything is spiritual, and on the other hand, I had a lesson on the secret devices of Esau. So we're gonna start it off with this scripture here. Joshua chapter 1 verse 8 says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all his writings therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and thou shalt have Salakia, thou shalt have good success." All right, Salakia. So the main point I want to get in is that, this word shall not depart out of our mouth, and we shall meditate therein day and night. And when I first read this, when I first came across this is one of the verses I keep when we close, is meditating day and night. At first I was trying to figure out, how could you possibly meditate on the Lord day and night? How could you pray without ceasing? Once I grew up in this thing, I began to find out, basically everything is spiritual. Everything you do in this truth is spiritual. Everything that you do from the simple things, like the scriptures say, be not confident in the plain way. Even the simple things, the minute things from, I had a discussion with a relative of mine, which they're in the know too. And we're just having a spiritual conversation on watching movies. And we was making jest about, when they watch the movie, when they watch it with somebody, certain people, I would say, they're not on the same page. Like everything that when they watch it, that the one with the spiritual eye, they're watching it with a spiritual eye, while the others are just watching the movie. And they were saying like, something wrong with that, or am I tripping? Am I going overboard? I'm like, no, everything is spiritual. The scriptures tell you to rehearse the righteous acts. Time is an opportunity. Time provides opportunities for you to rehearse those righteous acts. It's not always going to be the spiritual annotation that you need to rehearse these acts. That's the actual. That's not rehearsal. That's the actual act. You're putting it into action. This is go time. Once you basically have to it's showtime when you actually doing it. So rehearsing the righteous acts. Say you're abstaining from pork, abstaining from getting lined up, or these minute things, abstaining from not shaving your beard. That's a form of discipline. You know what I'm saying? And every day is an opportunity to increase that discipline. Really the things that you meditate on is basically keeping a spiritual eye on. Could be anything that you run into. Just like I was watching this movie. I went out to watch this movie last night. I didn't even watch the whole thing, but the night school, which is the movie was horrible, but there was a lot of spiritual annotations in it. And the main thing I noticed, was that they had one character. I don't mind telling the movie's whack, and if you go see it, it's a waste of your money. So I'm gonna talk about it. They had one guy, and this guy resembled the persona of an Israelite, man. And they was making fun of him as though he was stupid, presenting themselves as intelligent. So you can tell, basically that they were attacking the character of the prophets, man, because he had the same persona of the prophets, and they basically making him sound stupid, like he knew what he was talking about, and he was saying key words that not only do prophets say, but GMS. He was saying some key words. I couldn't remember the quotes that he was saying, but it was general quotes. But you can hear, like, these motherfuckers be listening to us, man. And so that's the devices of Esau, that slick shit. But if you're just watching a movie to enjoy the movie, you know what I'm saying, to look for jokes and shit and to relax yourself and relax your night with the family, then you're gonna miss it. So to watch something with a spiritual eye is basically meditating on the Lord day and night. So when meditate is to think upon, you know what I'm saying? Basically to pray, to focus on, to you know what I'm saying? You could sit there and meditate as far as turn everything off, burn some herbs, as far as frankincense and myrrh and things like that to help you meditate, and just sit there and get into your spirit. You could do it that way. You could pray, or you could just think upon it. That's how you meditate day and night, is when you walking throughout your daily. Everything is a spiritual annotation of your mission with the Yahweh Shem Shai, or along with his prophecies and his commandments of Yahweh Shem Shai. They had the image that they want to project, the man, how he being simple and broke, and a woman is successful, and they don't respect men. All that, all that you can see. But it's nothing wrong with watching every single thing with a spiritual eye, meditating upon the Lord day and night, basically, praying without ceasing. Always everything has to do with the Lord. The Lord created everything. So yes, everything has to do with the Lord. If you're lowering your guard, this shit is vain. Basically, if you're lowering your guard, if you're sitting there and you're doing something and saying, this is the time where I just space out and think of nothing, then it's pointless. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? There are things that are pointless, that that are vain, that's okay. If you lay with your woman, you know what I'm saying? But even that, you're not thinking upon the Lord as you're doing it, but you have a spiritual connotation, a spiritual mind about your goal as to when you're dealing with this woman. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's like, this is a little something that I'm dealing with, so I don't have trouble in the flesh, or this is the woman that's my rib, you know what I'm saying? And, whatever, everything's a spiritual annotation. It's a concubine, or is this is my wife, or, let me not fall into these women, you know what I'm saying? These are things that you're always supposed to be looking at, not just leaving off from the truth and then getting deep into whatever you are in that moment and then going back to the truth. You're basically taking your garment off and putting your garment back on. You know what I'm saying? Everything is supposed to be looked at with a spiritual eye. How in on God's green earth are you going to progress? Are you going to rehearse the righteous acts if you go in dumb land for pleasure, and you just turn off your spiritual antenna when the Satan, the spirits walk around like a roaring lion seeking who they might devour? You just basically take your armor off to go watch a movie or to go turn on a video game, and you just a vulnerable subject to these demons, man. And you wonder why, just speaking on the negative of when you do it, you take your armor off and you just go in la la land. You wonder why you forget certain things. You forget high holy days. You forget, or you're not protected by the angels, because you're spacing out. You're leaving yourself open to all kind of energies, forgetfulness, bad habits. If you rehearse the righteous acts, if you rehearse praying, and when you get in your car, let me pray. This is a spiritual thing. I'm getting in my car, so the water Yahweh Shem Shai for allowing me to travel. And when I travel, please let it be a safe journey. You know what I'm saying? This is meditating day and night. All right. You shouldn't just get in your car saying, okay, well, I drive this car every day, it should work out for me. Yeah, because it's not going to work out all the time. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. You don't have control over what things going on. So don't get comfortable in this truth. You know what I'm saying? You should never get comfortable in this truth thinking, oh, well, shit, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to always look for the kingdom, always look for Esau's traps. But do that mean you're overzealous? You know what I'm saying? Where everything is like, no, the white man's trying to poison the students. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, the water and things like that, and the food. But does that, it says, basically don't be a string, don't swallow a camel and strain at a gnat, basically. You know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself in that position. Don't be I forgot the scripture, but basically, don't be over righteous. Don't be righteous over much, man. You gotta have your balance. You gotta understand things that you aren't in control of, and you try to, control it and get your discipline, but don't like I was jokingly saying that, you get it's spiritual even to put on your shoes. You know what I'm saying? To be saying, oh, the wadi haba shimi al-shai for giving me the mind and the wit to still be able to tie my shoe, to know my left from my right. Now, to be over righteous over much, you're gonna be like, man, I'm gonna put my right shoe on first and then my left shoe, because the left don't come first. Fuck the left. You know what I'm saying? You gotta deal with both. That's at that point it's just shoes. You know what I'm saying? So don't be all fucking, how they present us on TV, yellow 5, red 40 ass nigga, you know what I'm saying? You be balanced. Make it make sense. Now I say that to say another thing is looking at it with a spiritual eye is, Esau via Donald Trump sent out them texts. Sent out them texts. And the text went through all phones, man. And the movie that resonated with me was Batman. When there was a point where Batman used the sonar system, like the whales use the sonar system to locate and follow things through echoing. And what Batman did in that is that he turned all phones, he used all phones to locate every single person on the planet Earth, because using a speaker on the phone, he used it as a sonar system. So that way he had taps of everybody on planet Earth. He could see inside buildings, outside buildings. And they showed that in that movie. And when that Trump situation happened, that's the connection I made, that they're going to use these phones not only to triangulate you, but to know what type of shit you on, to not only hear what you're talking about, but to see how you moving. You know what I'm saying? If they don't chip you, they can use the phone system to, track you. You know what I'm saying? How you think they're going to track people and chip them in the first place? So these things is something that should resonate through your spirit, that you should be looking at, not just saying, oh, Trump, man, fucking up I was doing something, I was watching a video and Trump busted through my phone. That the government got too much control. They busting through your phone. You being simple, man. You just being shallow-minded. It's always something. When Esau do something, you're always supposed to be thinking about the prophecies and the kingdom when they come out with a new move and a new law. It's something that Esau is doing. It's never just what it is. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be acceptable with a person that's looking at everything with a spiritual eye. And so I made that connection. That's a connection I made, looking at it with a spiritual eye. Everything that they do is for a reason. Everything on planet Earth that happens is for a reason. So you should never get in this bubble of emptiness or just thinking about nothing and enjoying the world, when everything is an opportunity to rehearse the righteous acts, to be in the spirit. Why would you want to be caught in dumb land? That's why, sometimes I deal with, got a young brother deal with, and I deal with the things that he basically be in La La Land, as one would call a space cadet. It's an inside joke, but yeah, you got space cadets, you know what I'm saying, where they get all spaced out, and one's meditating on it. That's what I made the connection with, Yeah, they that person in particular It's a young brother. He still he ain't even I don't believe that he's just hitting his teens basically. He's a young brother. But long story short, he spaces out to the point that he's not on page all the time. You know what I'm saying? Or he's not in the right vibe as brothers all the time. And through the spirit, I can see that he's not doing it on purpose. You know, he's trying, but at the same time, he can't catch up all the time. You know what I'm saying? At first, I was like, oh, you know, the brother's young. But really, that ain't the case. It's you know, once I talked to the individual and seen his daily, he was one of the people say, hey, let me watch a movie. I just prefer to watch a movie and just enjoy it. You know, I want to laugh. And that's when I sat there and I said, oh, okay, you know, like, yo, you're in La La Land. You're going to your space cadet mode. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you're not up to par spiritually. So when you're hanging out with other brothers, you'll lose yourself with being in a camp because you're enjoying yourself in that moment. Not always. I don't care if we're in the movies, we are going out to eat, we're doing whatever. Everything you're supposed to be spiritual. When I go out to the bar, I'm saying, you know, I'm having a spiritual mind. I'm going out saying I'm presenting myself as, you know, the future Malak of Yasha Allah, and the fact that I am an Israelite, so I must carry myself a certain way and project myself like, you know, you Edomite saying shit, basically. I ain't gonna be over righteous and be like, give me my food, devil, and no. I'm walking there showing, look, common courtesy. You know, I tip, you know what I'm saying? And act like have a ruling class mentality type of deal, man. You know, showing respect and type of thing, not being subservient. But look, man, I don't gotta be what was my fries? Fries are cold, and being a fucking hard ass on people while they working type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you know, Salaki for the in and outs. You know, I'm recording it the best way I can. Got no signal out here, so this is the best way that I can get the party started. You know, and the scriptures that I'm showing are in conjunction to what I'm speaking on. You know, but at the end of the day, the point is that how can you get on the same wavelength as brothers if you're spacing out and spacing in the world? The spirit war against the flesh. So you shouldn't be marinating in the flesh, especially your mind. You know what I'm saying? Your energy shouldn't be resting in the flesh. It shouldn't be resting in the world. Your spirit and your energy should be resting in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? And you're going through the flesh. You know what I'm saying? In your daily, such as working, eating. You know what I'm saying? When you eat, you meditating on the Lord. Like, I pray that this food don't be be poisonous or be bad to the point I get food poison, because you're not gonna appreciate being well conditioned in your homeostasis until you get sick. Food poisoning hurt like a motherfucker, man. You're gonna be praying like hell then. I mean, you're gonna be praying like like it's nothing else, like it's no your last breath. When you going through that food poison stage, you know, when the brothers just went through it, you know, he can attest. So you should pray before. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the brothers said, being proactive, acting before. Don't wait until it happens. Don't wait till when it's time to hit the highways. Then when you put all your garments, then you want to try to get all your spiritual energy. You should already be spiritual. You ain't never take your spiritual garment off. You're spiritual the whole time. You just put the garment on to let everybody else know it's game time. You know what I'm saying? You've been in the spirit the whole rip. You know, when you're driving and you're sitting there and doing whatever you're doing, it's always spiritual. You know, if you're around a apostle or elder, just because y'all playing basketball doesn't mean that now y'all on y'all equal playing field. This is still a ranking order system. And what can you learn while you playing basketball? What is he talking about? What is his demeanor? You know what I'm saying? Something you can get out. You can be spiritual some way in that moment. You know? So I just want to put that energy out there. There's so much to go on about it. But I want to say, call Allah to y'all by Shimi Ashai, by Shimmer, call Kadash, Barakathum. Blessings and double honor to our apostles/elders. Blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching, enduring truth and sincerity. Sincere Ahabathum Akim, Ahabathum Sequayim, and Shalom.